Oh, hello, and welcome to What Are We Talking About with Jamie Jakes. I am him. CBS Sports ADP is broken, and here's how to exploit it. If you're watching this, you're probably having a CBS draft coming up. If that's the case, congratulations. It's the best time of the year. Cheers to you. What we're going to do is we're going to break down the ADP or average draft position of CBS and compare it to what has historically been the sharpest fantasy football platform in underdog fantasy football. We're going to break it down round by round, and I'm going to give you a recommendation on the guys you need to target and make sure you know that there are some landmines in these rounds as well. And there's massive differences across the board. CBS's ADP is the wildest I have reviewed. I've done Sleeper so far, and I've also done Yahoo. So if you got some drafts coming up or if you got friends that do, make sure you send them those videos as well. So we're going to get right into it with the first round. Breece Hall is going number 2, where there is a big bunch of receivers that I'd way rather have especially in PPR formats, which is what this ADP is based off of. I wouldn't take him there. I would definitely take Christian McCaffrey number 1 overall. I would take CeeDee Lamb or Tyreek Hill 2 or 3. Flip your own coin in your head. Of course, CeeDee Lamb did sign today. And on that note, he's going number 5 in the CBS format. So if you can decide where you're drafting, for CBS in particular, I would want somewhere in that middle, the 4, 5, 6 range is where I would be wanting to draft in a 12-team league, because there's great values in the second round where there's really not in the middle second round in any other platform that I've researched so far. Saquon Barkley is going extremely early. He's going 6th overall, where he's going 18th overall on underdog. I would definitely avoid him. Jonathan Taylor also going in the first round. He's going around the turn in the second round in underdog. I would avoid him. I would really be targeting Justin Jefferson going 10th overall on CBS. Justin Jefferson, he's got a new quarterback, but he's a veteran. He's Sam Darnold. I get it. We've got a pretty low ceiling with Sam Darnold, but that ceiling doesn't have to be that high for a guy like Justin Jefferson to perform. We saw what Justin Jefferson did in a short sample size without a decent quarterback last year. After Kirk Cousins went down, he was still fine in fantasy football, and I think you got a great value in him at 10 overall. So early first round, I would be taking Christian McCaffrey or one of the 3 wide receivers that we already discussed. If you're in that middle where I'd really prefer y'all picking from, I would just kind of go ahead and take Justin Jefferson or Bijan Robinson or Breece Hall if he falls into that middle round. And towards the end of that first round, I would definitely be targeting Justin Jefferson, A.J. Brown, Puka Nacua, and Garrett Wilson. Second round, there's a ton of landmines. We'll start with Derrick Henry going 30th overall in underdog. He's going 15th here on CBS. We already mentioned Puka Nacua. You might get a Puka Nacua to fall to you at the middle of the second round in 12-team league, which is really why I would like y'all to be picking from that 5 to 7 range, because if you can get an early pick of a Justin Jefferson and pair him with Puka Nacua, that's a pretty awesome value, if you ask me. Massive landmine here. A lot of the running backs are way too early on this platform, and we will learn that we'll have to reach on a couple of them when we compare it to the underdog values. ETN, 17th overall, going 40th on underdog. James Cook, even worse, 18th versus 54 on underdog. And then there's a big run of premium quarterbacks who I would recommend staying away from. Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, all going in the second round here on underdog, going 36, 41, and 43, respectively. We're going to get to the quarterback position. We're going to get to the tight end position, but we're not taking any of these super early guys. And again, Garrett Wilson, actually technically a second round pick here. I would take him at the end of the first round. So obviously, if he falls to you any point in the second round, take him for sure. The one running back I would sort of reach on here is Isaiah Pacheco. In fact, if you don't have a running back out of the first round, I would kind of recommend that y'all go ahead and reach on Pacheco if you are towards the middle or late part of the second round. And the wide receivers I just talked about are already off the board. Round 3, another landmine, 27 versus 64, Joe Mixon. There are some pretty awesome receiver values in this third round, which is why I would like y'all to try and get a running back in the first 2 rounds, whichever one falls to you, because in the third round, amazing receivers across the board. Nico Collins, Deebo Samuel, just go ahead and take your pick between either of those at 30 and 29. They're going early second round on underdog. And another big landmine you need to avoid here, Rachaad White going 31 versus 60th on underdog. There's a lot of reasons to be concerned about Rachaad White. We could see Bucky Irving or even Sean Tucker compete for a position there and get that maximum usage away from Rachaad White. We'll see. He wasn't very efficient last year, although I have to admit that offensive line kind of struggled. They do have a new center, I believe, who seems to be, by all reports, absolutely incredible. So maybe they get a little bit more efficient that way, or maybe one of these other running backs kind of cut into Rachaad White's usage. Either way, I would definitely recommend against drafting him here this early when you can get Deebo Samuel or Nico Collins in the third round. So fourth round is the first round on CBS. I would start looking at quarterback, in particular Lamar Jackson, 35th overall here, 48th on underdog. So you're still not getting a great value, but since the other three went so early, getting a guy in the fourth round like this, I would go ahead and take your first shot at the quarterback position. Other great values, Mike Evans from the wide receiver position. I would stay away from Alvin Kamara, but I would target Kenneth Walker if you haven't gotten a running back yet. In the first 3 rounds, I would either go Lamar Jackson. If Lamar Jackson's off the board, I would go ahead and take Kenneth Walker. But if you got at least one running back in the first 2 rounds, that affords you the opportunity to take a guy like Jalen Waddle or DK Metcalf in the 4th round. Who knows? One of those guys might even fall to the 5th round. Those guys are going, Jalen Waddle going early 2nd round on underdog, DK Metcalf going 29th overall, 43rd on CBS. So great values there. If you need a running back, take Kenneth Walker in the 4th round. Lamar Jackson's great. But the more I think about it, Jalen Waddle and DK Metcalf are just 2 guys I would probably pass on Lamar Jackson, knowing what I have coming for y'all in these later rounds from the quarterback position. 5th round, though, great opportunity at running back. This is totally fine if this is your first running back, but you need to get him here. David Montgomery, 56th overall, 68 on underdog. So still reaching a little bit, but all of the running backs on underdog are going to be that price compared to CBS, except for Christian McCaffrey, who obviously is number 1 overall on both platforms. 5th round, we can start looking at tight end Trey McBride, 51st on CBS, 46 on underdog, but a big wide receiver that you need to have on your radar on the 5th round as well is Malik Neighbors. 58th overall here, rookie out of LSU, phenomenal athlete. I think he's going to be a stud day one, and by all camp reports that he will be. He's going at the end of the 2nd round on underdog, and you're getting him here at the end of the 5th round. So he's a guy I would even consider if Jalen Waddle, DK Metcalf are off the board. I would go ahead and reach for Malik Neighbors if you got a running back early on. Getting on to the 6th round, Anthony Richardson, one of my guys in fantasy football this year. Anthony Richardson going in the 6th round, 63rd overall versus 57 on underdog, so a little bit of a value there. Another reason to kind of wait for after Lamar Jackson, unless Lamar Jackson does fall a full round or so. Raheem Mostert, 68 versus 86. I still target him here if you do need a 1st or 2nd running back. He would be in the 6th round. I wouldn't go in home leagues. I wouldn't go any deeper than this without getting your first running back. So he's like a, in case of emergency, running back here. If you need one, grab him. Even if you don't, he's a great value. But you also have to keep in mind Rashee Rice is going in this round. I would probably be looking at him in the 5th round as well. If Malik Neighbors, David Montgomery is off the board, go ahead and get Rashee Rice. Doesn't sound like he's going to get suspended if that's the case, and he plays like he did last year from week 5 on when he was fully integrated into the offense. He's going to be a top 20 wide receiver in fantasy football this year. No problemo. The target competition that is brought in the offseason, I think is going to help them out more than anything because they're field stretchers. They're basically not even playing the same position, so they're not even really, truly target competition, in my opinion, in that offense. And the market agrees with me. It's the smash value here in the 6th round. I would take them in the 5th. And you can also take 2 shots at tight end in the 6th round, 7th round as well. Kyle Pitts, 72, Evan Ingram, 71, both going around that range in underdog. Kyle Pitts, great value. Obviously, got a new quarterback there. He might finally get unlocked. Not that he really needed to get unlocked. He caught for 1,000 yards his rookie year, for goodness sake. So let's be real. And Evan Ingram was the tight end 2 last year overall. He got a little bit of injury help when Christian Kirk went down. With that being said, I think he's going to have a fantastic fantasy football season. And he's another one of my guys that in a My Guy episode I did release not too long ago. 7th round, another great option at the running back position, Tony Pollard. It is a little bit of a reach compared to underdog, but we recently found out that Tony Pollard will very likely be the bell cow there for admittedly a lackluster offense, which is why he's going so late. But in the 7th round, getting Tony Pollard or Brian Robinson, who I believe will both be bell cow backs again on a rather lackluster offense. Great value to get here for your 2nd or 3rd running back. If you get one of these guys, your 3rd running back in this format, your home league, I would almost be done with the running back position going forward and just load up on these wide receiver values. 8th round, Jake Ferguson, 85 versus 84, so pretty flat right there. Another shot at tight end you can take. Xavier Worthy, smash value here. I would take him as early as the 6th round. He's going in the 8th round, 92nd overall versus 55. So again, another reason to maybe reach a little bit on some of those early running backs because it gives you the opportunity to load up in the wide receiver position. Even if it's my number 5 wide receiver on my roster, I almost don't even mind having a guy like Xavier Worthy or Keenan Allen in this round as well. He is going 89 versus 58, so just after Xavier Worthy. Reach on these guys. Get one in the 7th round. Get one in the 8th round if you really need to. And the bottom half of your bench is going to be full of studs at the wide receiver position. And if you got an active league, someone will trade you for one of those studs for one of their premium running backs that they way overpaid for. Someone at some point of your league is going to give you a Rashad White and another extra piece in exchange for a Keenan Allen or Xavier Worthy. So we're going to combine the last 2 rounds, and I'm going to give you some free sleepers. If you want to see my full sleeper episode, I have it already released on my channel. I'll probably put it up here somewhere or whatever, so you can easily click on it. I highly recommend that if you have fantasy leagues that go any deeper. The first point on this, round 9, round 10 on CBS is where some defenses are starting to go. Those defenses don't make any sense for the first off, those defenses that go first don't make any sense. So don't reach on them there. I would wait until at least the 13th round to take a defense. If you do have a kicker league as well, play it based off of how many points those kickers get. If it's just a flat 3 points across the board for every field goal, I wouldn't worry about it. But if they're juiced up, like you get like 6 points for like a 60-yard field goal or something stupid like that, I would go ahead and reach on a kicker maybe in the 14th round. But until then, you'll need to fill the bottom of your roster. So here are some great options. Tight end, there's honestly really not a lot of great options. So just get one of those guys at one of the points that I already talked about. And that's probably going to be your only tight end because the rest of them are going to go undrafted, it looks like, in most of your CBS leagues. Oh, last note on defenses, start of schedule, in my opinion, Cleveland Browns, Raiders, and Steelers are the 3 teams that you're going to want to be targeting. Get one of them, ride with them for your first 5 to 7 weeks of the season, either cut them or find some roster space with an IR slot to roster them for a week and then maybe play them some more. But obviously, everyone knows defenses. If you have them in your league, you don't really hold a lot of them throughout the whole season. There's like maybe 2 or 3 teams a year that's even worth doing. And at the end of the day, if you're playing the Cowboys in week 17 and the Cowboys need to win to make the playoffs, guess who's dropping your superstar defense anyway? So 2 quarterback targets, Caleb Williams, Trevor Lawrence. I think across the board, the Jags are entirely undervalued in pretty much all platforms, and CBS is no different. We already talked about Brian Thomas going pretty late. So if you did get Brian Thomas and you need a first quarterback or your backup quarterback, go ahead and stack them with Trevor Lawrence. Same thing with Caleb Williams. If you got DJ Moore, who's a fine value, we didn't talk about him in today's episode. Keenan Allen, if you get one of those 2 guys, go ahead and take Caleb Williams at 103. Again, fine value, and just determine that with stacking. I think Caleb Williams is going to run the football a lot. I think he's going to be a great value in basically all formats. Some free sleeper running backs here. Rico Dowdle, 113. Gus Edwards, 104. There was news today that Dalvin Cook is flying in to test out with the Cowboys. I think, if anything, that's a positive for Dowdle, because what that's telling me is they need another veteran on the lineup because Zeke is just that washed. So if you did get Trevor Lawrence in the 9th round, definitely get Brian Thomas in the 10th round because he's going 124. He's going 71st on Underdog, and I think that's pretty appropriate. I've been taking him there pretty regularly all offseason. Rookie out of LSU, another one of those LSU guys that was sensational. I think he broke a touchdown record in a Big Five conference his last year with the team at LSU. He is running with the ones day one, just like his teammate over in New York, and he's got a lot of target competition there, so he must have earned it. Unless we see something entirely different than we did in preseason, which is possible, right? But I think he's going to be a big part of this offense no matter what happens as a rookie. Same thing with Ladd McConkey. A lot less of a pass attack offense, but Ladd McConkey is still a great value here in the 9th or 10th round. He's going 79th on the Underdog platforms. I would definitely try and get like a hero RB, hopefully get lucky on Brees or Christian McCaffrey or Bijan Robinson in the first round, maybe get lucky with Jahmyr Gibbs or Isaiah Pacheco in the second round, and then just wait entirely on the running back position. Honestly, if I was drafting, I would probably just wait until this 9th and 10th round, get Rico Dowdle, get Gus Edwards. If you get a great value about one of the running backs we talked about before, that's great. But there's just so many great darn values from the wide receiver position. And important note, make sure you know your roster construction. If you are in a 2 flex league, you're already in a 3 wide receiver league. If you're in a 3 wide receiver, 2 running back league, that is indicative of the ADPs, the average acquisitions that I've been talking about all episode. If you have 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, then you're definitely going to have to reach on those running backs because they come a little bit more valuable in those formats because you can only start 2 wide receivers each week. But load up on wide receivers through the middle rounds. Even if it's trade bait, I think it's worth it. Get one of these late round running backs and pair them with a David Montgomery or better. And you just need to remember that you need a tight end by round 8. So starting with round 5, we're looking at Trey McBride. I think that's a good round to do it because you only miss out on David Montgomery and Malik Neighbors. And in the later rounds, you can get Raheem Mostert, Rashee Rice are much better values than David Montgomery and Malik Neighbors. Kyle Pitts, Evan Ingram in the 6th and 7th round, Jake Ferguson in the 8th round. Just try and get one of those guys on your team, and you probably won't have to roster another tight end, especially if you have an IR slot. In deeper leagues, again, check my sleepers video. I cover tight ends there. Conklin and Noah Fant are 2 free ones for you. And that's how you beat CBS. This is a very fun video to make, so please share it with your friend if you liked it, and if you didn't like it, share it with your enemy. My name's Jamie Jakes. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. If you have any trade or keeper questions, go ahead and leave them there. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.